Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back, and I am in full voice, everybody. This is DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray. I'm so glad you are in full voice. We're going to talk about that in a second. My name is Jay Ray, also known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, folks?
Welcome back to another episode of Q Points, your safe space for meaningful conversation about Black music and the artists that we love. Jay Ray, it has been quite the week. How are you, sir?
You know what? I'm really, really good. We have been rocking and rolling over here at Q Points, having meetings and things and figuring out our future. So no, I am feeling really, really good and happy that you are back in full voice. How are you, Sir Daniel?
Listen, as I said, I'm back in full voice. So all the symptoms are gone.
Okay.
Regarding, because if you didn't tune in last week, if you don't know, I did test positive for COVID last week. And I've been enjoying, I'm not even gonna lie, I've been enjoying quarantining for the past week or so.
You had to be around people.
Work. And I didn't have to be around people. I don't have to be around coworkers. I love you guys, but I didn't have to be around them. And it was good. It was a much needed rest. And now the funny thing is, you can still test positive even though you don't have the symptoms for a while. And like most workplaces, if you have to show proof that you are no longer positive, you still have to stay out until you get a negative result. So I'm still waiting on a negative result. But hey, I'm feeling good. I am, back on our bullish, as Jay Ray was saying. I'm really proud of us. We've had some really dope things to come our way over the past few days. Some people have been recognizing us. I want to shout out Good Pods.
Yes.
I want to shout out Libsyn. Mm-hmm. The recognition is very cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. So a couple of the things that have happened this week, y'all. We got an email yesterday that we had begun charting on Good Pod's indie music commentary charts, which was so dope. Like, I'm like,
so
look at us, like being on charts and things. So make sure, y'all. So with Good Pod specifically, it's a phone app. I'm actually going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. But if you go to qpnt.net/good pods, you can download the app and you can follow Q Points over on Good Pods. But we were trending over there, and what's really dope about it is that platform is a podcast social media platform. So whatever you listening to, the people can see what you listening to, and they can listen to it too. So it's dope. And then Libsyn, we were featured on Libsyn's blog. And to your point, like Sir Daniel, Libsyn is our podcast host. So the people, when you listen to Q Points on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, wherever, that's coming from Libsyn. And Sir Daniel and I did this interview, and they just took it and then did this whole other thing with the social media and all of that. That was dope to see.
That was really nice. That was really nice. Just, you know, just knowing that the hard work is not going unnoticed is super dope. It's very validating.
Yeah.
So shout out to Lipson. Okay, there's been a lot of good stuff going on too, music wise.
It has.
So DJ Premier along with Mass Appeal dropped an EP last week. And it's the hotness. It features Nas, it features Slick Rick. And you already know, I have been running that Remy rap ragged because, first of all, Remy really stepped up. Like, she snapped on that feature.
She did.
Big time. Rhapsody.
Yep.
Rhapsody is always dope.
Yep.
But Remy really had something to prove. She was like, oh, y'all must have forgot. You know, that I does this.
Right.
And she really shut it down. That was really nice. It was refreshing to hear that. Refreshing to hear her over a Premier beat. But yeah, the whole project as a whole is definitely just very reminiscent of the stuff that we grew up on.
Yep.
The, you know, what Premier would give us, the very precise chopped up beats, the cuts and scratches, you know, MCs just really going for broke on the rhymes. It's just a really nice project.
No, I absolutely agree. So in this project is coming in recognition of the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which is in 2023. Hip hop will be 50 next year. Yep. August 11th.
Well, a lot of us.
Right. And so this is kind of in recognition of that anniversary. And so this is volume 1 of this particular series. So I'm excited to see what's in the future. But, you know, I agree with you. Remy and Rhapsody, dope. The whole thing is dope. It's like 5 songs. It goes. You got Nas, kill everybody. Slick Rick and Lil Wayne. My God.
You can't ask for more. You can't. The master storytellers. You can't ask for more. And they compliment everybody. Everybody complimented each other well on the various songs.
Yep. Absolutely agree. So yeah, y'all can go and stream that. We'll make sure that we put the link to it in the description so that y'all can go and stream it because it is worth your time. And DJ, I think you know this, Sir Daniel, but DJ Premier is my favorite hip hop producer. Pete Rock is my second favorite. So this is a whole thing, and just the love that I always feel like Premier puts into his beat making. Like, I feel like he really cares about hip hop.
Oh, you have to. He has to, because the work that he does is super intricate. I can imagine now it's a lot easier with the software that's available. But can you imagine what he had to go through back in the day when it was just like an MPC player, and, you know, the not as advanced equipment that they have now, where you literally were manually doing things and chopping beats and pulling the record back so you could get that sample again. I can't imagine. And that takes a lot of dedication. He is worth every penny.
Yep.
That people spend on.
Yeah, and so one of the things that he does too on his YouTube, shout out to DJ Premier. I didn't know we were going to do DJ Premier love, but this is perfect because we should. He has a show on YouTube called So What's Up. And what he does is he has all of the 3.5 floppy disks. You remember these, Sir Daniel. And he pulls out them floppy disks. And these are the small ones. That was the big joint. That was like the 5 joint. But he pulls out the little joints. And so these are the 3.5. These are the discs that have the beats that he was creating during the golden era. And what he will do is he will take that disc and he will tell the story about how that beat came about. It's so dope. Just imagining this little thing got one song, because that's all you could get. Like, it's got one one song programmed on it, and what he does is go through it. So we'll make sure that we put that link too in the description so y'all can go and check out So What's Up. It's a fascinating walk down boom bap hip hop memory lane.
Absolutely. And as we walk down that lane, we walk towards the future as well. From the bottom of our hearts, we want to give a special shout out and a congratulations to some friends of ours, Rob Milton and his writing partner, Creon. They are recently got the biggest look, I think, ever. They are featured writers on Monica's latest release called Friends, right?
Yep.
And oh my God, it features Ty Dolla $ign. Monica is giving us a boom cack in the video, a nice little 8 count in the video. And I am super happy for our friend Rob Milton because and I tell you, if you think you work hard, Rob Milton is working harder.
Rob Milton is outworking you while you're sleeping. Rob Milton is in the studio making another album because that brother right there, we talked about him on like one of our really early shows and we said this, but he is truly one of the hardest working brothers in the game. And this song is so beautiful. And I was telling Sir Daniel, because as we were setting up tonight, I'm friends, baby, just like you. And I'm sitting there doing it. And I want to say to you, Rob and Creon, when you get J. Ray just randomly singing your song, you got a good song because because it gets stuck. And then I want to hear it again. It's so beautiful, and I'm just so happy for y'all. Like it's a good look. It's a dope song, and Monica and Ty are singing on this song.
Listen, I don't think people realize how well Ty Dolla $ign can sing. It's like once you get past all the different layers of the auto tuning and stuff that is really popular, or even when he's rapping, at the bottom of it, he can sing. And we of course know Gunica, as we lovingly call her, has been putting it down since she was 13 years old. So it's just an amazing project. I can't wait to see what happens next for Rob and for his crew. I know he gets lots of placements. Another thing that Rob does is Rob understands the music business, and his music, he'll make sure that he shops his music to get placements on television shows. Like he's already gotten a placement on Insecure.
Yep.
And I'm sure he has other stuff down the pipeline, but it's probably time for him to start doing seminars and teaching people how to get their milkshake to bring people to the yard, but you got to charge, Rob. You got to charge. And you know what? So sidebar, Rob Milton hasn't been up here on Q Points yet. That's weird. Now that I think that's really weird. Yeah.
We have to fix that. Especially because he's going to be booked and he's going to be real booked and busy. Not like he's not booked and busy now, but it's going to get crazy.
We got to get him now. Yeah.
Yes.
Before all the agents and all the PR people get involved, and we have to call this person and call their phone just to get to him.
Right.
Yeah. We just gonna do while we can slide in his DMs. Let's do that now. Let's put him on the schedule.
So real quick, before I know that we jumped to the present, here's something that happened today. Because the album is right behind me, and I'm just going to. It's right there. Yep. Listen. Shout out to the legend Patti Austin for getting my workout together today. Oh my God. Honey for the Bees, Shuffled Up, her feature on Masters at Work, You Send Me Flying Like a Butterfly, Shuffled Up. And I was sweaty, and I just wanted to love on Patti Austin today because she's a treasure.
And it's amazing. Let's talk about the power of the tongue. When you spoke her up, you brought her up on your post earlier today. One of my favorite Instagram accounts, Hershey Kit Kat, on her post today is a Patti Austin performance on Soul Train. And I'm like, what is the likelihood of that happening? There's something in the zeitgeist, something in the atmosphere right now that you've tapped into. So we need to go ahead and give Patti Austin some love and some flowers while it's on our minds. Another thing that happened earlier this week, no, it was last week. Jennifer Lewis got her her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? Of course, Jennifer Lewis is best known for her cult classic Jackie's Back. Yeah. And who made a cameo in Jackie's Back? Patti Austin. Patti Austin made a cameo in Jackie's Back, and she's singing. If you're a true Jackie's Back fan, you know what scene that is. And I would love to see some people singing that song that Patti Austin was singing. But anyway, we digress. Shout out to Patti Austin and for the impact that still reaches for generations, man. We love you, Patti Austin.
Absolutely. Sir Daniel, okay, so why are Rob and Fab behind you?
So I'm glad I wanted you to bring that up because I'm glad you did. So Milli Vanilli is joining me this evening because today actually marks the anniversary of, is it today? Today's the 21st.
Today's the
21st. So it is squarely on today that the incident that was heard all around the world on their MTV performance when they were literally outed on television as lip sync artists. And this was after the Grammys. This was after all the accolades that they swept the Grammys that year. And after this performance, they're riding high on the success of this album and the singles. And then the machine just came to a screeching halt when during the live performance, their backtrack, I guess, started skipping and didn't do what it was supposed to do. And, you know, I have a theory that there was some foul play. Somebody got mad and wanted to expose them, but that's another story for another day. But I'm talking about this because it literally changed how things were done in the music industry. It literally put the music industry under a microscope, and it put artists on guard and on notice about live performances. We've talked about this before in earlier shows about how the Rob and Fab effect is like when you have groups like Boyz II Men and Vogue, everybody wanted to do an a cappella performance prior to their hit song playing because they wanted you to know that, hey, ain't no funny business around here. We can actually sing. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, unfortunately, Rob passed away back in 98.
And Fab is still killing it. Fab is still touring and performing. Can I tell you a fun story? I went down a Rob and Fab rabbit hole.
Those are the best.
Right. And I'm not really sure why, but I ended up watching this super long interview with Fab about that time. And it was really interesting hearing the insanity that was happening around them. And also the fact where he was kind of like also lining up the history. And he particularly talked about the Grammy. He was like, we did not want to win that Grammy because we knew, and apparently it was kind of an open secret in the business that they were not singing on the album. And so they were both very much like, don't make this happen. Like, don't make this Grammy thing happen. And it did happen. And it became so much heavier because they knew what was happening. But here's what I ended up. So by the end of that rabbit hole, Sir Daniel, I ended up watching a live performance of Fab doing Girl, You Know It's True flawlessly. The audience was losing their minds in whatever country and whatever festival he was doing. But just a total professional, well done, just a well done set where he was up there and like, no, listen, I know that all of that happened, but
Yeah.
no, I'm an artist and I do perform and I do sing.
Wow.
It was great.
And see,
Sorry.
and the streets of Philadelphia, folks.
Right.
But no, hearing that makes me happy, but it also makes me sad for Rob. That the heaviness of that incident haunted him for so many years that it led to the drug abuse, and which ultimately led to his demise. And I think a lot of people nowadays are experiencing a lot of grace and a lot of second chances. And I really wish that he had a chance to experience what Fab is experiencing right now, because I think you can't tell me Milli Vanilli wouldn't be on somebody's nostalgia tour right now and would completely sell out.
Oh yeah.
So I hate that for him. I really do. I hate that he did not get a chance to forgive himself and then finally let the world catch up to it, so that he could enjoy a lot of hard work, because they worked hard. They did a lot of those appearances, and even though they weren't giving vocal performances, I'm pretty certain that tour schedule and that tour life had to run their bodies ragged, and they still gave up a sacrifice to even be a part of the culture, be icons of the culture that they are.
Yep. Wow. That's a moment.
It was a moment, yeah. And speaking of duos, I want to just take a moment of silence for another duo that has split this week. Our podcast forefathers, Jesus and Miro, are no longer together. Their podcast they've called it quits. They've called an end to the TV show. Everything is done. Everything just came to a complete halt all at the same time. It's very cryptic as to why. Of course, people are speculating, because of the popularity and the money, of course, people are speculating what happened. I just want to ask right here and right now, in front of all these witnesses, J. Ray, if we get to a certain point, I'm asking you to please promise not to dump me for somebody younger and prettier on this podcast and just throw me to the side. You have to promise right here, right now, in front of God and all of our podcast listeners, including I see G Ray is in the building. What's up, G Ray?
Oh, he is. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
So yes, you have to promise in front of everybody right now that you're not going to kick me to the curb once the dollars start rolling in.
Right. You know what? It's funny that you say that. Well, one, that's not going to happen, because I was watching this situation like, oh, I don't even do stuff like that. Like, we don't do business like that.
Nah. No, not at all.
But it speaks to I did really begin thinking about us and our partnership and Q Points, and like just always wanting to commit. Oh, we're about to have a session. We're about to have a moment here, y'all. Always want to commit to you, Sir Daniel, to keep the lines of communication open, because
Absolutely.
Listen, we are on this journey. We don't know where it's going to take us, but we have big dreams for this show and beyond. And so just remembering to keep the lines of communication open. And so, Greg, you are in the chat. You heard us say it.
You heard it.
We're going to keep this lines of communication open. And I also just want to send love out to Jesus and Mero. I know that, Sir Daniel, you was a fan.
Oh my God. I was a stan. I was a Jesus and Mero stan. Like, I caught on late. I caught on to them when they were on Vice. I didn't know about the podcast prior to that. But once I saw them on Vice, it was just something about the camaraderie and the chemistry that they had. It was just too funny. They're two straight dudes. That what I appreciated, they're two straight dudes that could be funny without being super gross and being super homophobic. They are like class acts and super homeboys at it, and the brand was brolic. So salute to Jesus and Miro, man. Salute to
Yeah.
y'all.
Wow. Okay, so we are doing so many things, which is great. We got a lot of things to cover before we're about to get to our topic, but one more thing.
Yes, we got to talk about this.
We got to talk about this. So we have a winner for the contest.
Woo-hoo!
So shout out to Wani. I don't know if Wani is watching right now, but you are going to get in the mail. Well, first of all, you're going to get a form so that you could give me your address. Then you're going to get your copy of Strength by Wajid, which is a 12-inch EP. You're going to get it in the mail. And I'm so happy that you have won. And unfortunately, the other person that won, I can't seem to get in contact with them. But Wani, I definitely know we got you. And congratulations. And thanks for the folks that entered our contest. It was our first little contest. And now we're about to mail out a record. It's beautiful.
Happy spinning, Wani. Enjoy your record. So one other thing that we do need to talk about before we get into the meat of our show this evening. The monkeypox situation is very serious.
It is.
And we were talking off air and we were asking each other, like, are you planning on getting vaccinated for monkeypox? And the resounding answer was yes. Because, not for nothing, folks, it's out there and it's not what you think. I know people it's being marketed as, like, I don't know how you market a disease, but it's being marketed as a gay person's disease. Like only gay people will get affected. But if we're talking about something that can be transitioned from skin to skin contact, come on.
Skin to skin.
It's a people disease. So everybody can get it.
It is, and it's so crazy. Yes. So anybody can acquire monkeypox. It is heavily impacting the gay community right now, but monkeypox is a thing for all of us to be aware of. So I'm going to read the symptoms. This is according to the CDC. Q Points ain't making this up. The link is in the description so that you can go and check it out as well. So monkeypox symptoms. Monkeypox is a rare disease caused by infection with the monkeypox virus. Monkeypox virus is part of the same family of viruses as smallpox. We've all heard of smallpox before. Monkeypox symptoms are similar to smallpox but milder, and monkeypox is rarely fatal. It's really important. Monkeypox is not related to chickenpox. So I have heard that. So here are your symptoms, y'all. So one, you could go online and also see pictures of what some monkeypox look like. Now, I'm gonna also say this. I do have a concern with the images that they have been using to show monkeypox because it's typically been Black folks and it's typically been folks I'm like, I don't know about all that, because what we're also learning is the way it's presenting currently is not like that. It's looking different, right? So that actually came up on a webinar that I was just on. They were like, listen, let's be aware that these images that they're showing of Black folks with monkeypox, one, monkeypox is not just a Black disease either, and two, it's showing up in a different way as well. So let's be aware of that. But symptoms can include fever, headache, muscle aches, and backache. Swollen lymph nodes, chills, exhaustion. This sounds like the flu, right? So and it's a rash that can look like pimples or blisters that appear on the face, inside the mouth, and on other parts of the body like the hands, feet, chest, genitals, or anus. So make sure you click that link, read the symptoms. But yeah, I'm down for the monkeypox vaccine. I'm just getting all the vaccines this year. Give me all the vaccines.
Vaccine. So what I'm finding is that a lot of people are also concerned about where, like Trey in the comments, and what's up, Trey? People are trying to figure out how and where you can get the vaccines. And the only thing what I've been trying to do is for my particular county that I live in, I'm following their public health, the public health office for that particular county to see when they're doing vaccines, because I know for like say Fulton County in Georgia is already having an event coming up where they're doing, if you live in Fulton County, you can come out and get vaccinated. So I'm waiting to see what happens for my county, and just staying aware of, follow their Instagram accounts wherever you live, follow what the CDC in that particular city and state that you live in, try and follow along to those guidelines and those Instagram accounts to see where they're going to be having events, because the vaccination events are starting to pop up a little bit more frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Wow. Woo! Listen, y'all.
And the reason, and we're talking about this because this is a music podcast, but with music comes congregating, and we've already been talking about how the resurgence of concerts and people congregating in the name of music and partying is back in full swing. So yes, you do need to be aware of this disease that is spreading skin to skin.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before you go out there and buy a new outfit for that particular concert you're going to, Sir Daniel says make sure you wash that outfit. Me personally, I don't put on anything like, especially towels and underwear. I don't put any of those things on against my skin until I wash them. That's just my thing.
Get it, Sir Daniel. And yo, thank you so much, y'all, for like hanging with us. Yes, we cover all the things here on Q Points because you have to be aware. You have to be aware. But yes, monkeypox is real, and I'm trying to get me a vaccine. And interestingly enough, in my county, there's not a lot of talk about it. And I'm asking questions like, why are we not talking about monkeypox?
Why come, folks? Why come?
So, okay, so Sir Daniel and I were having this conversation about philanthropy. So hip hop has been such a philanthropic culture since really the very beginning, because you're talking about poor folks who are at the foundation of the culture, and then once those folks started to come up, they go back to their communities and do for the community, right? And so we wanted to spend some time just kind of sending some love out to hip hop philanthropists and just to show them some love.
Absolutely. Exactly to your point. I'm thinking hip hop really, if we really want to talk about it, the first like philanthropic recorded piece of art under the name of hip hop, of course, is The Message.
Yep.
Because that's like the very first PSA, hip hop PSA ever, about reflecting what was going on in the various communities and how urban plight was such a real thing. And, this is pre-crack. So, we had crack to look forward to, AIDS, all the things that were affecting the Black and brown communities specifically. And like you said, in response to that, I think we also took a page from our R&B and pop cohorts when they did projects like USA for Africa, We Are the World. Those things came to fruition, and I think we took a page from that and was like, oh yeah, hip hop cares. We care about our community, and we want to show that. And then you have things like Stop the Violence, which I think was like the second, I guess, philanthropic event of hip hop history.
So after The Message, and then of course, the Stop the Violence movement, and then We're All in the Same Gang was like, I feel like that was, for me, interestingly enough, even though Self-Destruction is like so legendary, we probably just need to do a show on Self-Destruction and all the artists that were in it. But we're all in the same gang. For whatever reason, I remember feeling like, oh wow, these rappers are really coming together to create something, that's specific for the community. So of course the Stop the Violence movement did it, and the We're All in the Same Gang movement did it in LA. So there was this period. There's never not been a period in hip hop history where hip hop prominent members of the community haven't given back to it.
Absolutely. I think if you fast forward also to 1993, 1994, We saw the formation of Daddy's House by Mr. Sean Puffy Combs. And it was actually run at one point by Sister Soldier.
Yep.
So I think, he, people say what they want about Diddy, but, he did have a heart. He had a heart for giving back in the very early days, even before he became the billionaire that we know him to be now. He created Daddy's House to answer questions, to answer things in the community that he saw needed help. I think that's where we got the celebrity basketball game, the city college game. Unfortunately, ended the way it did, but that was done under Daddy's House to help raise money for, his community, Harlem. And he was always down to give back to the community back in the day. And he was the first, when you think about it, he was the first to start doing it really big, because I remember, when he started doing them here in Atlanta, he would have like bad boy weekends here in Atlanta, and it was all to benefit Daddy's House. And, then you start having the celebrity basketball games, the golf tournaments, the parties, all under, the name of giving back to the community.
I'm glad we're having this conversation, because it is always tempting to harp on like the negative stuff. Because it's always so present, but I do think there are like always these glimmers. Like, we all can't be the worst thing that we've ever done. So there's like, we're human beings and we're complex. And so I think it's important to remember, because I think we're not talking about him specifically in this show, but I always, this, Kodak Black is fascinating to me. I know that he has a lot going on in his life, and I want that brother to be okay, and not condoning any of the violence towards women and all of that stuff. We don't condone that stuff over here that he's been accused of over the years and all that. But I've also seen this consistent philanthropy from him since the beginning of his career that I have always found really kind of like endearing. And just a reminder that there's always been folks. We could go down a list. I'm sure there's rappers who have been doing this that don't get the accolades that a Diddy did for Daddy's House, because it wasn't like a huge thing, but they made sure that during the holidays, folks got stuff that they needed, or that folks' lights stayed on in their neighborhood, right? Like,
Absolutely.
We have to celebrate, we have to honor the good that folks do. Even sometimes when they do stuff that you're like, I don't know.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mention people that just help out in the neighborhood. And that makes me think of Trey the Truth out of Houston, Texas. Trey the Truth, and it's so funny, tomorrow is actually Houston Trey Day. And that started because a few years ago, if y'all remember the horrible tornadoes and hurricanes that was hitting Texas a few years ago, where people were being flooded out of their homes relentlessly. Their homes were destroyed. A lot of people had to go to the Houston Astrodome for safety. Trey the Truth took all of his resources and, did what needed to be done to help answer the needs of people. And those actions that he took triggered his celebrity friends or his music industry friends to start joining in and to helping him out. Next thing you know, he's got on his food line where he's feeding the community. Beyonce and Blue Ivy are on the food line handing out food, because
can you imagine?
Because that's home. Houston
Right.
is home to them. And it's nothing for them to pull up and be like, hey, what you need to have, what needs to have happen.
Right.
What you need me to do? You need me to hand out water. And so things like that, that's philanthropy. That's, just starting out with what you have and answering a need right then and there is philanthropy without any kind of it wasn't until, like I said, until his industry peers started realizing what he was doing. That's when the focus came in the radio interviews and the TV interviews. Now it's become a thing where he's, every year he has an event to help raise money, awareness, whatever it takes for Houston, because he saw a need in his neighborhood. And not for nothing, a lot of rappers are just like that.
Yep.
There are a lot of, like you said, a lot of them get a bad rap, but a lot of rappers really do care about the neighborhood that they came from and want to see people do better.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like, there are some folks. So there's a few that we pulled who have actually formally kind of started foundations that are really active. And over the years, there's been a lot of foundations that rappers have started. Like we already talked about Daddy's House. I know that Jay-Z, who still does a lot of philanthropy in his current work, but I know there was like the Sean Carter, I think, was a foundation at some point. But
There's a Ludacris Foundation.
there's a Ludacris Foundation. But wanted to talk about a couple. So I figured that we would start here. So this is actually Social Works. This is Chance the Rapper's foundation, and Chance the Rapper is doing some really interesting things right now. So apparently there's going to be like like some sort of festival in one country on the continent. I'm not sure which country, so don't get me to lying.
Okay.
But he's doing some interesting things. But this is his nonprofit, and so I'm going to tell you some of the things that they have on their list to do. But really, this nonprofit is about inspiring creativity to build dreams, to let you be you. And so this is really to empower the youth through arts, education, and civic engagement. This foundation was founded by Chance in 2016. And some of the things, actually, they just had a sign up for Chance and Breeze Books and Breakfast, which sounds super cute. And they did a Juneteenth event at the DuSable Museum. They did a Juneteenth barbecue and block party. But it looks like they have 4 main focus areas. So it's something called Kids of the Kingdom, which is a spiritual, like a spiritual section for 5 to 13. I'm going to actually scroll down so folks can see it too. And then the warmest winter. So providing relief for individuals experiencing homelessness. Once again, another kind of mindfulness, wellness. You have My State of Mind. And then they have like an open mic for like school students. So yeah, Chance the Rapper over in Chicago, using his celebrity to do things to engage the kids.
And what more can be said about that?
Right.
You really can't beat that. I do have a question, and the answer is probably obvious, but J. Ray, in the future, becoming the billionaire that you will be and the media mogul that you will be, what will be your cause? What will be your your foray into philanthropy?
So I absolutely. I'm just gonna lay it out. Here's what it is. I definitely want to do the Static Foundation of the Arts. I want it to have it'll have a global focus, but I do want a very specific program in the city I was born and raised in, and where I currently live, of Chester, PA, to teach people podcasting and storytelling, as a way to change the world. So that's one of the ways I want to give back, is to take this thing that we do here and bring it into the community and really teach people the power of their own voices, and that what they have to say matter. So yeah, that's what I would want to do. And I'm going to flip it and ask you the same question, because you're going to be traveling the world and be rich and famous, Sir Daniel. What would your giving back be, your philanthropy?
I think the current work that I've been doing for like a year now has really opened my eyes and has, really gotten to my heart. And that's working with youth experiencing homelessness. That would definitely be my cause. How to attack it, how to reduce the recidivism of people getting back on the street, actually catching young people that are in the various child protective services across the nation, because a lot of them come out of these organizations. Like here in Georgia, we have DFACS, other places call it DIFUS or whatever. But when they age out, a lot of them think, you know what, I'm old enough, I could just sign myself out and I don't need anybody else, I don't need any help. I'm going to go ahead and sign myself out of care. And what they don't realize is that when you've been in care for your formative years, some have been in care since they were babies, some since they're preteens. When you're in care in your formative years, a lot of stuff is done for you. There's a lot of things that you don't, if you don't have a caretaker that will teach you, you don't know how to do. And so a lot of them fall into this trap when they leave care. They end up homeless because they don't have a plan of what they're going to do once they sign themselves out of care. Everybody thinks, well, I could just sleep on my homeboy or my homegirl's couch. But what you don't realize is that you don't realize what it's like, what people are really like until you live with them. And people, after a while, it's like, okay, it's been 3 months. I need my sofa back.
Right.
And then what? You're out on the streets. You're street homeless for real now. So there's a lot of lessons that a lot of young people could benefit from prior to making these decisions, or at least helping them to make informed decisions so that they don't end up relying on the public system to get help, because that's already in shambles as it is. I can tell y'all firsthand that all the housing resources are hanging on by a string right now, because a lot of people are needing those resources because of this thing that's going on with housing now.
Yeah.
So if we can reduce the amount of young people that are experiencing that, yeah, that'll do my heart good.
Well, listen, you already know, count me in. I'll come over there. Like Static Foundation for the Arts. We could do a podcast, bro. We could do a program. We could do the whole thing.
Okay.
Teach us some skills. Yeah. Listen, I'm totally there. Yeah, man, that's beautiful and necessary. Really
very
necessary.
Yeah.
Wow. So the next artist we wanted to talk about, he's not in this picture, but the Common Ground Foundation. Interestingly enough, we got two Chicago people back to back, but this is going to be a very Midwest list, by the way, because the next person is over in Detroit. So, but the Common Ground Foundation was founded by, you guessed it, Common. And what they do is they help to set goals for high school students post high school. So really helping them with their plans. They have what they call their Dreamers and Believers program. What I found really, really interesting is, I'm going to scroll down. They have, they expose these students to these different pieces of arts and culture, which is, we saw it in Chance's program. We see it in Commons. We're going to see it again in the next one. The importance of arts and life skills. Like we ignore that. But when you are introducing young people to dance and drama, hip hop, all of this stuff, it also helps them do everything else.
Absolutely. If someone who is brought up with an art or a dance background or an acting background, those people, if you notice, they're able to present themselves, they're able to stand up straight, they're able to project their voices, they're able to convey ideas clearly, which quite a few young people are unable to. And a lot of times, a lot of predicaments that people get into is because they're of a lack of being able to communicate effectively
Yeah.
or to ask for what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know how to do those things or how to present themselves. And so they get lost about on the wayside because nobody's paying attention to them. And I see how if somebody is able to, if you get a few singing lessons, that will help you to be able to, your posture is improved, the way that you project your voice is improved, and people take, and you have a presence.
Yes.
And people take those things seriously. And so that's why those things are very important. They do carry over into real life situations instead of, a lot of us revert to what works in our old neighborhoods and in our old scenarios, but those don't always work everywhere in the world.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with being multifaceted. There's nothing wrong with being able to code switch, and I know a lot of people have strong feelings about that, but there's nothing wrong with that because you need to be able to do it. This is not a one-dimensional world that we live in. So I'm here for it. I want to shout out Gil in Chicago, who is watching us. The Midwest is definitely in the house tonight.
Yeah, come on. Hey, Gil. So, Sir Daniel, you actually made me think of something really interesting. I talk about this when people ask, but one of the things that my mom was really big on when I was young was me doing public speaking sort of things. And so when I was young, I would just be like in programs and like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much they're now part of my DNA. Like now they're inside. I can't imagine not learning that stuff when I was really young, because it did help me to be able to, I could stand up in front of the class and read my book report and not feel like nervous about it, and it taught me confidence. That was the thing. Even though I'm nervous and I'm an introvert, and you know this, and I've talked about it, you can put me on stage and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll have to go to sleep immediately after, but I'll be okay.
That social battery is drained, baby.
Did you go through, because you have that sort of presence, did you have programs that you went to when you were in grade school?
We part of the curriculum was a lot of music classes, chorus. I had all West Indian teachers, so there was no reading to yourself. You had to read out loud in front of everybody, and they probably would have thought it was a little abusive, but people looking back would think it was abusive, but it helped. And in high school, I took drama classes here and there, ended up in a couple productions here and there, but that's because I naturally had an inclination to those things. Now, one thing that I did do, and I thank my mother for this, is when I was very young, she gave me a tape recorder, a tape recorder that I could operate at my age. And she would I would have tons and tons of storybooks. A lot of those storybooks had the cassettes in the back where you pop it in and you read along, because that's how kids, built up their reading skills, their reading comprehension skills back in the day. And so, but I found out I could get blank cassettes and record myself reading the same stories.
Oh, Sir Daniel, you was like, I could do you one better, Mom.
I was recording myself at an early age, like reading stories, and you just never know, those things have an effect on you and carry you out through life. And here we are, the both of us, doing podcasting, speaking publicly, in our work lives and in our private lives, our artsy lives. We do the same thing. Those things have an effect on you at an early age. So I'm all for it. If you can give a kid the ability or the confidence to speak out loud and to feel confident when he speaks anywhere to anybody, that is life changing, because you can go anywhere in this life with that kind of skill.
Ashe. So our last person, so we're going over to Detroit. So we reel in the Midwest. So we have now been square, right? So we're in Detroit with Big Sean, who has the Sean Anderson Foundation. And the mission of the Sean Anderson Foundation is to uplift our youth and community by providing them with academic and wellness resources necessary to aid in their journey to becoming their best selves. What I absolutely love about Big Sean's foundation is they have this thing called the Mogul Prep. Here's the different. Listen, they got a studio. Like they got little studios, the Sean Anderson Foundation studios. One, teaching people how to do stuff like, you know what I'm saying, what we're doing in production and all of that. Entertainment industry club, teaching, young people about the entertainment industry at a young age. Of course, a wellness series. It looks like they have a weekend where they do an event. But once again, really engaging arts, business and wellness, and dealing with the youth. Once again, like when you get these folks young and you get them into these programs, like there are going to be people who are in the programs that we have been talking about today. I will be so excited to see what some of them end up doing, because they're going to be coming out of here with so much more knowledge than if they hadn't done this.
Yeah. Yeah, the sky's the limit. And I'm very glad that most rappers just innately have the desire to give back. And that's what's so important. Giving back, creating something, creating your legacy. I think a lot of them, now that hip hop is affording them lifestyles that they never thought they could achieve. Now it's like, okay, I have a lot more money than I really know what to deal with. But there's still a disparity between my wealth and what's going on in the neighborhood that I came from. So whatever I can do to change that, I'm going to do it. And I'm just very thankful that, the majority of them want to do these things, or if called upon, they'll make donations. They may not do things on their own. They make donations. What's up, Keys?
Hey, Keys.
And and it's needed. And I'm glad a lot of them take that on and make it, a part of their legacy, because that's what they're doing. They're building legacies.
Absolutely. Wow. Sir Daniel, we have covered a lot of ground tonight.
It was a very meaty show, and I appreciate a meaty show.
I do, and I hope y'all do too. So listen, if you liked this show, because you might not be listening to it at night, if you liked this show, you can leave us a tip. You could go on over to Patreon and leave us a tip. Just show us some love. You know what I'm saying? Drop us $1. Drop us $2. You know what I'm saying? Drop us whatever you want, actually. If you want to go a step further and have access to our exclusive content, listen, we got QP Science 3000 over there. We got our webinars back there. We got all of our exclusive content. You can join and you can get access to that stuff. You can even join the QP community. We're trying to figure that out, build that out. People might not want an extra community to be part of, but we want to talk about music stuff. We want a place where you could come and kind of talk to your music heads about music stuff. And so we have an opportunity to do that if you are part of it.
Or put us up on new stuff too.
Please put us up on new stuff. We need to know, who are you listening to? In fact, let us know, who's hot, what records are you listening to? Because listen, we love when we get a chance to interview folks. So we got a whole YouTube channel that needs to have more people on there. So tell us what's hot. What's on your rotation? Who you listening to? Let us know. Shoot us their Instagram. You can slide in our DMs on IG or on Twitter and let us know. But so yes, you can leave us a tip. You could become a member. Make sure that you go on over to Apple Podcasts, and make sure that you leave us a star rating there as well as a review. Do the same thing over on Spotify, and make sure that if you are over on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification, and make sure that everybody does that as well over on YouTube. And my last but very not least thing is make sure that you follow Sir Daniel over on Mixcloud, because Sir Daniel's got some dope mixes over there.
Yes, I do, and I appreciate that. I want to let the community know one of my babies is sick again, but I'm working diligently to get her back up and running. Shout out to the Audio Technica people out there. That's the turntables that I use. I love turntables. I love a vinyl moment. So we're going to try and get back online so I could get back to mixing live for you guys on Mixcloud. But yes, hit that follow button on Mixcloud. And J. Ray, what do I always say? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
I'm J. Ray, y'all.
This has been Q Points. We'll see you next go round. Peace.